was a big deal when Georgia won last season. What would it mean if Georgia wins back-to-back championships this year?
I think what it means is that suddenly there's a new king in college football, and it's not Nick Saban. And I say that because Nick Saban has 7 national championships, and he's won 6 championships since 2009. What makes this even more interesting is that Kirby Smart is a disciple of Nick Saban. He worked for him for 11 years, and the fact that he would go across the state border and do it at a big rival within the same conference is pretty amazing to think about, because Nick Saban at 71 has not gone anywhere. He's still a very respected coach. His team's number 5 in the country. They lost 2 games on the final play this year. But it would be a remarkable achievement considering that Georgia until last January had not won a national championship in 41 years.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like, when you think about they're 14-0 in 2022 alone. So they've owned this year, dating back to when they won the national championship by beating their rival in Alabama. And, you know, Paul, to your point about, like, the new team in college football, I don't know. Would it not be fair to say that we've already seen that and the changing of the guard happened because of the way they beat Alabama, handing Nick Saban his 2nd worst loss by margin in that national championship? And I just feel like this team doesn't show any signs of slowing down. If they win back-to-back national championships, no team has done that in the CFP era. The last team that would have done that was Saban's Alabama teams in 2011 and 2012, when people would get mad at a set of computer formulas for determining who got to play for the national championship. I mean, it's the argument of, like, the historical value, especially when you're talking about, like, where are you seating both of these coaches, Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, 7 national titles to somebody who won 1. And, you know, for what Kirby Smart has done at his alma mater, he's only the 4th coach in the last 60-something years to actually win a championship at his alma mater. And it's a place that I know a lot of Dog fans were thinking it wasn't ever going to happen. And now that you're on the cusp of 2, that's some legendary stuff.
I think you hit the nail on the head, right, when you talk about nobody expected it to happen, right? They didn't know if it would ever happen because Georgia had the narrative and wore the label of the team that always had preseason hype but never lived up to the expectations until last year. So now, you know, it's about windows, right? Eras and dynasties is about, you know, windows and how you take advantage and cash in on your window. So if he's able to cash in on this championship, it elevates the program, and it's his time to try and get as many as he can get before ultimately the rest of the pack in the field catches up, because they become the hunted, not the hunters anymore. And so they have to get as many as they can. They can't let any slip through. And, you know, I don't know if I can still give him the new king, right? Because success is leased, not owned, right? And we would have said that about Nick Saban. But eventually the field continues to catch up. It is a lot of pressure to stay on top of that hill when everybody's trying to pull you down, especially in the new climate for college football and what happens with all the NIL deals and being able to get, you know, you get seemingly better overnight now by being able to just get people in the transfer portal.
And Bart, I don't think anyone wants to prematurely write Nick Saban off, but the points are correct. This was a bad year for Nick Saban, and I know some Alabama fans are coming out of their chairs going, how can you say that? We're playing in the Sugar Bowl. We're doing this. We were number 5 in the country. Maybe we should have been here. That's what they're probably saying. But this was probably the worst coaching job I've seen by Nick Saban during his tenure at Alabama. Why? Because he started the season as really one of the biggest favorites we have seen probably since USC 15 or 20 years ago. He had the best player in the country, the Heisman Trophy winner in Bryce Young. He had Will Anderson. Look at the mock drafts. I mean, we're talking about maybe 1 in 3 going, and that's not all he had. And this team underperformed. You know, I said a minute ago that they lost on the last play of the game twice. Well, guess what? They also won on the last play 2 different times and won another time in the final 40 seconds or so. It's not an overreach to say that Alabama could have been 8-4 this year. That's not really even going out on a limb. That's speaking what I've seen. His team was undisciplined, and I know age is a funny thing. 71, what does that mean? He won a national championship 2 years ago at 69. But he just looks a little bit distant in some respects, where Kirby Smart looks like, guess who? Nick Saban did a few years ago. He's got the energy. He's got the passion. He's got everything going for him, while we're talking about whether Saban is maybe close to the end.
And that's why I feel like there's validity when you say there's no chance, or at least there's no sign right now of them slowing down, because did we all not expect Georgia to fall off? Everyone saying, hey, they have 5 guys, 5 defensive players going to the NFL draft in the first round alone. And yet this is still the second best scoring defense in college football this season. There's no drop off there. And to expect like when the drop off is going to come, I can't project it. And so I know this is a what have you done now? What have you done for me lately sort of league, college football with the transfer portal. And when guys aren't getting playing time, they're jumping in that, going to a better opportunity. Coaches are leveling up and doing the same. But in terms of like the current era, this is Georgia's era right now. This is not the Alabama era, and I think we've already seen the changing of the guard that happened last January in the national championship.
They still have to get the second one first before we crown.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.